morning everybody, welcome to this week's update of the Crowdrender project. And as you can tell, I am driving, not walking, because, and this is good news, it's raining cats and dogs out, which is actually really great. As you're probably aware, we've had a lot of fires here in Australia, so rain is very, very welcome. But I'm not here to talk about the weather, I'm here to talk about what's up. So, I'm going to do, again, this video in two parts. So the first part is just me giving you an update on the crowdfunding campaign side of things. And the second is I'm going to be in the lab with Jeremy, just talking about what we're working on development-wise. So in terms of the crowdfunding campaign, we are, I'm going to call it halfway. So we've got halfway to our target. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated. It's really taken the pressure off of us because we've got cash now, we can pay our bills for the meantime. Obviously we still need to reach our target, and we're doing a couple of things about that. We're going to post a lot on Blender Nation, which, if you don't know, it's a very popular site with people that use Blender. We're also going to introduce some new perks. You probably heard a little bit of this from the last video, but we've actually made a lot of progress towards making that happen. I'm doing a new crowdfunding video, and I'm actually going to put a link in this description to the old crowdfunding video just for laughs if you haven't seen it. It was a lot of fun making it. It was pretty silly, and I don't know, hopefully you'll enjoy it, and maybe let us know what you think about that old video in the comments. We're feeling pumped, we're feeling really, really grateful and stoked for all the support we've got, and we're pretty confident we're going to be able to be sustainable. You're going to notice when we finally release the new crowdfunding video, we're hopefully going to be expanding the crowdfunding campaign to cover development as well as just operational costs. That's our ambition. It's our ambition to have a sustainable project, so you guys can have great software to do rendering, using all the computers you can get your hands on wherever they may be in the world. So that's our vision, to create a software system that can get computing power from wherever you can grab it, from your friends, from the cloud, from Amazon, from Google, anywhere pretty much. So that's pretty much the crowdfunding update. So I'm going to resume this video once I catch up with Jeremy in about 5 minutes time, so we'll see you then. Okay, so I made it to Jeremy's house, safe and sound, and now we're just going to give a real quick update as to what we're doing development-wise, because we've started work on the new system. So in about 2018, we did a crowdfunding campaign way back to build a beta, and that design has now changed into a completely new system. So we're going to start giving you updates on progress. So I'm going to go first. So I'm currently working on some code and some designs for basically a new upgrade for the networking side of things. And what that means for you guys is it's going to basically sort out connection for you automatically. So you don't have to press connect and know IP addresses and host names. Essentially, it's all going to work via your cloud account. It can also auto-detect machines on a local network if you don't want to connect to the internet. So pretty much what you're going to be able to do is just turn on Blender, turn on your add-on, and it will just find all of the active computers that you can use to render, and it will just show them to you. And instead of deciding to connect to them, it will already be connected, and all you do is you just decide whether you want to sync your project to them or not. So hopefully it's going to be a lot easier to use. A bit less confusing, because we're taking the whole concept of connection away and just replacing it with, do you want to use this computer to render or not, which is probably something that's a little bit easier to use than connection if you're not used to networking stuff. The other stuff that we're working on is the ability to connect to remote nodes. So a lot of you guys have been asking to be able to connect up to computers which are not on the same network, and they could be even in a different city or all the way across the world. So we're building a system that's going to allow you to do peer-to-peer connections through the internet, without needing to configure your router and without needing to set up VPNs and all that kind of complicated stuff. Because we provide that as a service and it does consume resources of our servers, that's going to be something we'll offer to all the people who are on the Lifesaver tier, just because, yeah, every time you use that service to connect, it actually costs us a tiny little bit of our server resources, and lots of people using that adds up to quite a bit of cost for us. So that's why it's going to be on the subscription tiers and not just given away for free. And Jez has been working on some stuff as well, so I'll let him talk about that stuff.
Hey guys, I've been working on rebuilding a hashing system which tracks the scene in Blender and makes sure that all of the nodes you're connected to have got that same scene and data. and we're rebuilding that so that it's much more robust. You'll have a lot less issues with with your nodes coming out of sync, and it should be able to automatically track what's changed and fix that for you, so you won't have to resync at all. And it'll also make it easier for us to actually find out what has changed and track that. So we'll be able to track more different parts of the scene than we currently are. So there's a few things at the moment that we don't actually track, which if you change one of them on the main machine, none of the servers will be synced anymore, and every single one of them needs to be resynced. And so this should make it so that a lot more of that data is actually copied across to all of the nodes, and there'll be a lot less effort for you guys, which is great.
Yeah, and Jeremy's doing some foundational work in that area, which is going to be really cool, because once that's done, we can actually start looking at another request that we've had quite a lot, which is for external files like textures or other blend files or physics caches or simulation caches or bakes. All of that data sits outside of your blend file. It's actually not inside your blend file unless you pack it, which means if you don't know about that, you're probably going to find that you'll get some part of your image that looks correct and the rest looks incorrect, so have a split. This is a very common problem. We get a lot of people asking for either support or for fixes for it. We have to do what Jeremy's working on first, and then we can actually start looking at building a system which will give you the option to actually transfer all of your external files with your blend file, so that every single node will just work, basically. The reason it's going to be optional is because a lot of you guys who work in studios already have a setup where you use a NAS or a shared folder on the system, and if we just automatically transferred everything, it may screw up your workflow, which we don't want to do. So we're thinking about basically implementing a system that will give you the option to synchronize all your external files as well, rather than just make it part of the automated system of syncing, because the automated version of syncing, we don't want it to screw up your nice workflows that you've worked so hard on doing if you're working in a studio. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, please subscribe, like, and share the video. If you haven't signed up to the funding campaign, you can check out the link in the description below to go straight to our crowdfunding page and check out all the cool perks we've got going. You might want to hurry to do that, because we are going to actually put the subscription tiers up. We've got some new perks coming though, so hopefully that's going to make that a little bit better of a deal for you. And we'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Alright, cool. And if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't had any sleep like I have, then you too would have brain failure, just like I'm having. But anyway, if you haven't, why? If you haven't any brain cells left to this sentence.
I think yesterday was fun.
Yesterday was very fun. Whoa, dude! Some guy just cut me off. That's character building.